Hello, sweet loves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon to those of you who are in Ohio with me, and good evening or good morning to those of you who are joining in other parts of the world. I've been connecting lately with some of you from Sweden and Australia. So if you would be so bold, please let me know how you're doing in the chat box as we get started. How are you doing today? And can you hear me? Is the sound working okay? Let me know. My name is Anya Light. Welcome to Soul Satsang. I'm so grateful to be here with you today. Hi, Grace. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So before I dive into our topic for today, I just want to say a few housekeeping type things. And the first is that today I really want to go more in the flow of things. In the past, the way I've structured these gatherings are, okay, I'll talk for X amount of time, and then we'll devote X amount of time to questions. And it was very structured. And honestly, more and more of how I'm living my life, my personal life, as well as my service work, I am doing my very best to extricate myself from clocks as much as possible. So I really just want to honor whatever Spirit wants to say through me today for however long Spirit wants to do it. I'm really open, and then I'll take questions for however long that feels right. So that's how we're going to flow today. And I hope that you all are okay with that. So I see Tanisha is here, our lovely friend Tanisha. Oh, I'm so glad that you have the intentional heart of receiving. Perfect. Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Tanisha's a dear soul I've been blessed to connect with for, 5 or 6 years now on the spiritual path. And whenever she shows up, I know it's going to be extra magical. So as I'm saying that, the sun is coming out more. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah. So who else is here? Would anyone else like to jump on and say hello in the chat? During the transmission today as well, if you have a question or a comment that pops up spontaneously during the broadcast, feel free to just share it in that moment. We don't have to wait till the end for the question part. All right, let's get started with whatever beautiful beings are here. All right, so I invite you in this moment to really take advantage of this time. This is a meditational moment. Yes, I'm delivering information, words to you, wisdom, but at the core of what we're doing here, we're taking a breath and a moment for much needed meditation. That's really what we're doing here, okay? In case you didn't know. So I'd like to invite you to take this moment, relax your body, let your shoulders relax. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, go ahead and close your beautiful eyes. Whenever you're ready, take a really low, slow, long inhale through the nose. And then whenever you're ready, take a slow exhale through the mouth. Again, whenever you're ready, slow inhale through the nose, exhale through the beautiful mouth. feeling the breath, diving into the breath, being in this moment together. Feeling a bit more grounded, a bit more settled in your chair or wherever you're laying or standing. One more deep breath. And just sigh it out. How do you feel now? Let's take a moment to observe that. I mean, it's amazing. Just a few breaths can completely shift your state of being. It's so beautiful and wonderful. And sometimes we forget that. But yeah, that's why we have Soul Satsang, to come back together and remember. So welcome again, everyone, to today's Soul Satsang. Today, we're going to talk about setting transformative intentions. Setting transformative intentions. I'd like to point out a key word here, which is transformative. The word intention gets used a lot in spiritual dialogues. It's a very popular word. It's been that way for the past, maybe 20 years or so. To intention this, intention that, which is absolutely wonderful. And then, and as well, I've noticed too, in working with beautiful souls, one of the first things that people tend to learn on the spiritual journey is intention work. Like, what is an intention? It's one of the very first things that we move into when we leave behind the more materialistic worldview, or we leave behind a more strictly religious point of view, and we start to move into the mystical, into the spiritual realms. So that word intention is one of the first lessons that we learn. And when I got the message to give this talk, I kind of thought, oh, that's a little boring. Like intentions, whatever, right? I like to talk about ETs, and I like to talk about near-death experiences and all kinds of crazy stuff. Why are we going back to the basics here? But it's really not so basic, actually. And the more that I thought about it, the more I started to think about the way that I use intentions and how it's changed over time, and how much I appreciate how it's changed over time. My understanding of intentions has gotten deeper and more complex. Not complex in more of a thinky way, but just more of a trust that it works and that it's important. And its intentions have become so imbued and interweaved into my daily life that in some ways my whole life is an intention. So it's really actually not that simple, or it's not that basic, in a sense of, for those of you who are new to intention work, great, you're in the right place. And for those of you who are an old hat at this, or maybe been working with it for some time, I think there'll be something for you as well. So there's always such an excitement in me when I do these meetings. I always want to talk so fast, and kind of like there's such an energy pouring into me. I have to purposely slow myself down here. So let's take another breath together. It'll help me as well. So let's take a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, sigh it out. One more. Okay, perfect. What is an intention? That's a fair place to begin. As I see it, an intention is a tuning, like a radio, back to the soul. So an intention differs from something we have perhaps on our to-do list. So a to-do list could be very practical. Get oil change on car, go buy bread at grocery store, pick up kids from soccer, right? Cool, well and good. An intention is different. An intention is a deeper yearning. And that root of that yearning stems from the soul. So it's a spiritual feeling. And that radio signal that we dial to the intention, that soul yearning, doing such, keeping that radio dial firmly on that intention, allows us to not get distracted by all the other radio stations out there, right? We could like flip around all the stations every couple of minutes. We could just listen to a different station. But no, when we hone in on an intention, we stay there for a while. Now, I'll talk in a minute about like how long to stay with an intention. But for now, just know that we stick with an intention for a period of time so we can listen to our soul's calling. And each one of us has a different soul's calling at different times. And it's a way to go inward so that we can not get distracted by the crazy, tumultuous, loud external world that wants to pull us in literally a million different directions. So it's a way to stay grounded and centered in the soul. So how long does one stay with an intention? That depends. There can be different levels of magnitude of intentions. So right off the bat, I'll share with you a very powerful practice that I've done at various times. I recently went through a period where I did it every day for about a month, and it was super awesome. And that is just simply working with a daily intention. So my routine was I would like start waking up. Praise be the Lord, I don't usually ever have to wake up to an alarm. And if you are a spiritual healer out there and you wish for that to manifest in your life, just know that God will bring that to you if you want it. It is a wonderful way to live because it really helps you tune into the natural cycles of what your body needs and then connecting with nature. Anyway, I digress. But as I slowly, naturally wake up, first thing I do is I state all the things that I'm grateful for that I can possibly think of. So my brain is like halfway awake and I'm just like, I'm halfway dreaming and halfway awake and I'm just like thinking about all the things I'm grateful for, little things, big things. And then my next step, so I get myself in this really high vibration right away to begin the day, to begin my conscious awareness. And then I move into the daily intention setting. And I just let my mind hone in naturally without force or effort on an intention. And it could be anything. It could be connect with my family. It could be hear the voice of truth. It could be forgive. It could be stay in a state of non-judgmental awareness. It could be feel more gratitude throughout the day. So you kind of just let almost like your subconscious mind select because you're not really awake yet. You're not fully awake. You just let this intention naturally emerge. And then what you can do is write it down on a little Post-it and put it somewhere where you're going to see it. So I would post it on the cutting board where I chop vegetables. So I would just put it right there because I cook a lot. So that was just in my face all day. And I just kept coming back to my daily intention. Oh, am I doing that? Am I allowing that to go through me? Am I being aware of that intention? Okay. Yeah. Come back to that intention. Yeah. And sometimes I would have days where I'd be like on the ball and just like the intention would just flow out of me constantly. Other days I'd have a few hours and I'd forget, about the intention. And then I'd see the Post-it note and be like, oh yeah, the intention, great. And I'd come back to it. So that's one practical way of working with an intention. It's a daily intention. So it can change every day, right? Just as a side note, what I do now with intentions is I've broken my whole life actually up into two compartments or two different intentions actually. And I'm guessing that as time passes that this might just kind of naturally dissolve into one thing. But for now, it helps me. So I basically have two different intentions, and it's not constantly changing like it was a little while ago. As I said, I did like a whole month of every day it kind of changed. The intention would change to something different. I was always working on something different every day. But now it's pre-planned. So I have my retreat days where I give myself permission to unplug my technology if I want to. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I focus on meditation and self-care, and that's it. So I'm really retreating from the world, retreating from the noisiness of the world, going into my cave, if you will. And sometimes that literally means like buggering off to like a retreat, secret, secluded camping spot, or locking all my doors and not going outside. And I'm really just diving deep, 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 deep into meditation. And I'm diving into whatever self-care practices that I need at that time. And sometimes it's fasting, and sometimes it's juicing, and sometimes it's affirmations, and sometimes it's taking long baths and reading spiritual books. And so my daily intention when I wake up now that I just review, is today a retreat day or is today a service day? So today, for example, you are witnessing me on a service day. So what does that mean? That means that my whole mentality, my whole energy stream is focused on how can I help? How can I be of service to my community, to, and that just doesn't mean like just the spiritual community. That means like just like my Grand Rapids neighbors and my biological family and whoever is around that needs assistance in any way. It doesn't even have to be spiritual necessarily, like directly spiritual. It can be something very basic, a good friend of mine, one of my soul sisters, is going through a rough physical healing right now. And yesterday, she needed some raw beet juice. So, I drove out to pick her up and I dropped it off at her house. Right. So it's not like always a directly spiritual, obvious thing. But so service day or retreat day. And my life is that's it. So this morning, when I was waking up, I thought, today's a service day, and I write it down and post it to remind myself, this is my focus. This is my, and I love service days because it allows me to forget my, like wants and desires, my cravings. And it allows me to take a little bit more of a dissolving of the separate I. You could call it the ego, right? So I sort of melt away or sort of disappear. And then the energy of life, the life force energy, God, if you will, flows through me. And it's blissful and it's lovely. And I tend to have a lot of energy on service days because it's not about what I want. I just kind of forget what I want. And then I realize what I really want, what the small I want actually is just to feel peaceful and energized. And it gets that through helping others. So it's fantastic. So my intention these days is either service or retreat. And so you can kind of play around with what works for you. So that's just like thinking about intentions in terms of days, like single days, So I tend to have more service days than retreat days, but it varies. And also you can have a long-term intention. So something that you're really focusing on. So an example of that could be, I'll give you a personal example. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago-ish, I was feeling like a little confused because And I talked about this in the last Soul Satsang. I had this beautiful partner that I was living with, and we were sharing our days together, and, endless walks by the river, and just all the beautiful things of togetherness and companionship. And he is not here now. So I felt like I had this gap, this extra time. Like, how will I fill this time? So I asked the universe, as I tend to do before sleep, because that's how I get a lot of my messages from the universe. I said, what would you like me to do with this extra time? Like, how shall I focus my next few months? Well, I said actually weeks or months. What is my focus? And I had a couple ideas of things I thought it could be. Like, do I get a more expensive camera and focus on my YouTube channel? Do I write another book? Like, I thought it was going to be a project that the universe was going to tell me to do. But no, actually, what it said was use the next few weeks or months to integrate and absorb all the teachings and lessons that your beloved who departed, he's still alive, but who he physically left, use the next few weeks and months to just keep the focus on absorbing those lessons. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't see that coming, but I'll do it. So what you can do is you can do what I did. You can, before you go to sleep, you can take a little journal, your dream journal, and you can write it down, how should I focus the next month? How should I focus the next 3 months, 6 months, even a year if you'd like? Although things tend to get fuzzy when you go too far out. So I would really say maybe it's better to do just a month or 2 months or 3 months. Again, time is a tricky thing. When we get too wedded to time and we plan too far out, it doesn't always work the best. So just ask, even just like the next week, and then see what your dreams tell you. See what visions emerge. See what angelic presence shows up in the night to guide you with a message that you hear in your mind. Let's pause here and just take another centering breath. Is everything here I am saying making sense? I just want to check in with y'all and ask if this makes sense. Do you have any questions or comments so far? Good. I'm glad it's making sense. Perfect. Okay. Another thing I'd like to share is, so we can ask the universe to help us set our intentions, to help us set those transformative intentions. We can also do some meditative and healing work to help us co-create with the universe these transformative, really, really powerful healing intentions. And a way to do that actually is to ask yourself, what did I leave undone in my previous lifetimes that I want to do now in this lifetime? So again, I'll repeat that. So discovering what it is in your previous past lives that you didn't get a chance to do. Maybe it's because you were too afraid at the time, or maybe you just ran out of time. You literally died young, or for whatever reason, something that went unfulfilled. And a good way to figure that out is really just to observe your day-to-day life. Is there a relationship that's constantly making you cry? Like, and you don't even know why. It's just like every time you talk to this person, you're sobbing. You're like, what the heck? Right? Well, chances are you were with that person in a previous life and there was something that didn't get done. Something didn't happen that your heart wanted to happen, but it didn't. So figure that out. And you can do that through meditation. You can sit down to meditate And you can, before you meditate, ask the universe, hey, will you reveal this to me? And let the vision come to you. For those of you who practice Reiki, I know definitely there's at least one person here who is a Reiki practitioner. You can set an intention before you do a self-healing Reiki treatment. And you can say, universe, reveal to me what it is in this lifetime that would be so good for me to experience that I didn't get to experience in that past life. And it's haunting me a little, and I'm ready to resolve it. And then whatever answer you get, then set an intention around that. So I had this relationship in the past where I had these uncontrollable, almost emotional reactions to this person. And then I realized that in a past lifetime, actually, this person killed himself. And I then killed myself to go find him in the afterlife, right? I actually think I talked about this in the How to Heal Past Life Karma Soul Satsang from January of this year, I believe, or January of this year. So you can go back and check that video out if you'd like. I went into more detail on that. In that video, I talk more about like how to do past life healing work. So that might also be helpful for you as well. So, but in this so I discovered, oh my gosh, there is huge baggage here, like huge soul baggage. Okay. So I co-created with the universe this intention of healing. And what I did was, there was a couple different intentions that emerged out of that. One was forgive him, because I was mad. I was mad that he abandoned me like that. He didn't try to talk to me before he killed himself. He just did it, right? He didn't trust our relationship. So I had to forgive him. And more importantly, I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself for taking my life in such a heart-wrenching way. So that intention was a lot about forgiveness, and it took a while. In fact, I think I'm still working on it a little bit, because I still sometimes have dreams about this person, which indicate to me that there's still something being worked out, right? So again, asking yourself, what did I not get to experience? Or what is weighing heavy on my soul? Again, it always comes back to the soul. What is weighing heavy on my soul in this life that I'm ready to heal? I'm ready this time. I have the bravery. I have the courage. I'm ready this time. Yeah, Tanisha, checking your ego. Yeah, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad this is a peaceful oasis for you, Grace. Perfect. Yeah. So again, to bring it back to that definition, the intention, if they are the most transformative intentions, they always have to do with the soul. It's not about a to-do list. It's not anything like that. It is, what does my soul need in order to evolve to the next level of awakening? That's what a transformative intention is. An intention like that will shift everything for you. I cannot tell you how much has shifted for me since, for example, I made the shift to recognize that I really just have two basic intentions in life: service and meditation. I mean, I have other intentions that come up as they go along, but to recognize that I just have two, I mean, that boiled it down to such a great extent. It made everything less complicated in my life. It just made things quite drastically simple. Meditation, service, okay. So when in Reiki, the first Reiki precept, the second Reiki precept, just for today, do not worry. All those worries that can come up, how, oh my gosh, what about money? Oh my gosh, what about this one relationship? Oh my gosh, what about politics? Oh my gosh, what about vaccine passports? Oh my gosh, what about my health? Right? All these fears that can come up. If we have solid core intentions, transformative intentions, it kind of makes those worries like more flimsy, just like whatever. Like that stuff will work itself out, whatever. So I invite you to create daily intentions, longer term intentions, and then at the core of what I'm sharing with you today, see if you can discern in just a word or two, do you have one or two major life intentions? What is the core of you? And don't necessarily copy me and say meditation and service because I said it, right? Everyone's different. Everyone has their own unique reason that they're here. We are all, if you are tuned into this channel and you haven't turned this off yet, that means that you literally are an angel. Maybe we'll talk about that in another time. But you have the consciousness within you to select the incarnation in which you come into to fulfill specific purposes. That's huge. That's empowerment. Your soul is at a very advanced level. I want you to know this. If you're watching this, your soul is advanced. I want to get to a question. Someone submitted a question prior to the broadcast, and I would like to answer that. So while I'm pulling up this question here, if you have a question, now's the time to ask because we're starting to come towards the end of our time together. Okay, so the question comes from a beautiful being named Derek. Hello, Derek. He says, how do you boost feeling good about the intention you are setting? How do you boost feeling good about the intention you are setting? Let me drop into this question for a second here. So if there's an intention that you're setting, Derek, that you're not automatically feeling excited about or peaceful about or good about, if there's not automatically a noticeable positive feeling about that intention, then my feeling on that is it's probably not the best intention that you could create. It's probably not the most transformative intention. The most transformative intentions, there's a zing behind them. And maybe not like a crazy ecstatic high, like, whoa, maybe it's a peaceful zing, but there is an element of zing happening. So ask yourself, is this intention that I'm creating deriving and stemming from my soul? Or is this rather something that someone else said I should do? Maybe another spiritual teacher, maybe a family member or a friend or society in some way that I should do this. Chances are, if you're not feeling good about your intention, and if it's not feeling sustained over time, it's time to check in with yourself and see if you can create a more transformative intention. Tanisha says, where is a good place in Ohio for a retreat? I want to get away for a day or two. You probably already know this, Tanisha, but Hocking Hills, Southern Ohio, that's the most amazing. Well, I shouldn't say most, like one, there's many, there's a couple places that I think are amazing, but that's truly a spectacular place to be. So I would advise camping too. Like for anybody who doesn't camp regularly, I cannot say enough good things about camping. Just sleeping so close to Mother Earth and having her heal you. And like it's starting to get cooler out, but it's still warm enough to go camping. So, a quick little tip for you, Tanisha, if you do take the plunge into camping, which I mean, for me, I say it like plunge because I run really cold. So it's like it's starting to get cold for me. But I'm about to go camping next week. And what you can do before you go to bed in your tent is you say a prayer to Mother Gaia to heal you. Ask her to cradle you in her arms and ask her to heal you. And you will have, I promise you, the most beautiful dreams. And you will wake up the most energized that you've ever felt. So that's my recommendation for you, love. Yeah, so fasting is a great intention to have. I don't quite understand your question. How does fasting from food do spiritual cleansing? So yeah, I mean, just fasting is always a great idea for cleansing. And when you fast, you can set a specific intention, Tanisha, for when you fast. So you can, so let's say you're going to fast for one day, and you can say, I intend that this fasting will boost my ability to fill in the blank. Or this fasting, my intention is to heal, fill in the blank, right? It doesn't even have to be a physical thing. It could be, or it could be an emotional thing that you're working on. It could be a spiritual question that you have. Please, through this fasting, reveal to me this, please, you know. So you can fast with an intention, which makes it more powerful. Let's see. Grace says, I'm tapping into the lessons of my NDE to write and teach music, leaving a legacy behind in the days remaining in this life. Oh, wow, that's really beautiful. Yeah. Nice. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I had an NDE as well. If you reach out to me, I can send you a link because I wrote a little story about it. I don't know if you'd be interested in reading that, but yeah, so the NDEs, you know, they give us that wisdom from a higher level, and you creating that legacy, Grace, that intention to create a legacy through your music. I mean, what kind of a better life core intention could you have than that? Like, that is so specific and so beautiful. And holding that intention in your mind constantly as you go through the days, Grace, you will not get sidetracked. I'm sure I'm speaking what you already know, I'm sure, but you know, it keeps you from getting distracted and going all over the place and just be like, what is my core intention? Is this serving it? Yes or no? If it's no, then I don't care. Like, it's gonna go. Right? So it keeps you focused. And I'll just close with this thought that, you know, in our modern westernized world, we have this like obsession with goals. Goals and calendars and getting things accomplished off our to-do list. And it is absolutely 100% toxic. I want to say that. It is extremely toxic. Okay. In its place, I really would like to see us moving towards an understanding, and we are moving in that direction as a collective. We're moving in the intention of intentions, not goals. A goal is, I need to do this to feel okay about myself. An intention is, I already love and know that I'm worthy. I love myself. I recognize that I am an immortal spirit, an eternal, indestructible soul, and it is my life's purpose to evolve. Hence, I'm excited to set this transformative intention. And if it doesn't work out the way that I hope or plan or foresee, that's fine too, because the universe knows better than I do of how this will come about, how this will manifest. So all I need to do is be open and allow. Be open and as Tanisha said in the beginning of this broadcast, receive. In truth, when we co-create with the universe, it's a bit of a an illusion in the sense of, from the higher level, it's all written in the stars, my friends. But it's fun because we come down to the human level and we play this game of, I'm setting an intention, right? And it's fun and it's beautiful and it's exciting. But in truth, the universe is all one and time is an illusion. So it's already happened. So take a breath, rest easy, know that it's already happened. And you're already completely enlightened and evolved, and everything is wonderful. On that note, taking a breath, I'd like to invite you to next month's Soul Satsang, which is going to be happening on Saturday, October 30th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to be talking about trusting the inner guru, which has pretty much been the main thesis of my work for like 10 years now, trusting the inner guru. So hope to see you then. And if you feel like this broadcast has fed your soul in some way, there is a link to a donation below, and any amount is greatly appreciated. Your donations allow me to continue living in society and sharing, and I really enjoy doing that. So yeah, I appreciate your donations. So thanks everyone, and I really love you all, and I'm blessed to have had the dialogue with Grace and Tanisha today. I really love that so much. It's always so wonderful when we can all work together and co-create these experiences. All right, sending much love to all of you. Have a magical rest of your Saturday. I love you. Bye for now.